Hey everybody, Josh here. Welcome to Glacier Online. This week we're continuing our series called Love God, Love Others, where we talk about what it looks like in the Bible to love God and to love others. Last week we talked about somebody named Hannah and how she loved God by offering something to Him. This week we're going to talk about what it looks like to love people. But before we get started with that, here's a silly video. Alright, so the game option for today is called Dice Race, and to play this game you'll need 2 dice per person and a piece of paper per person to keep score. On your piece of paper write down the numbers 1 through 12, and then your goal is to roll every single number 1 through 12. Now you have 2 dice, but you can choose to just roll 1 if you'd like, because if you notice, if you roll 2 dice, even if you roll 2 ones, those add up to 2, so you'll be getting a number 2. So you can choose to roll 1 dice to roll and get number 1, for example. And every time you get one of those numbers on the list, you put a check mark next to it. So you can roll, a 5 many times, and every time you get a 5, you can check it off your list, and your goal is to just get a check mark on every single number. The first one to get all of the numbers completed wins. So I hope you enjoy the dice race. So next up is the Bible video, and this week we're talking about what it looks like to love other people. The golden rule is that we love God and we love others, but we can forget what it looks like and what it means to love other people. So we're looking to a story of a character named Joseph. Part of Joseph's story is that he was betrayed by his brothers when he was young and sold away as a slave. He went through a lot of hard stuff and eventually worked his way up to be the leader of Egypt. And eventually his brothers came back to him when he was older and were asking him for help, and they didn't even know it was him. He could have chosen to turn his brothers away, to refuse them help, or even take revenge on them, but he chose to show grace and forgiveness to them. He chose grace, forgiveness, and love. And that's exactly what we're supposed to do. In the Bible, in Colossians 3, it says, "Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you." God wants us to forgive other people as He forgives us. And this is a great way that we can show love to other people. I hope you can think about that as you watch this video. Check out the reflection questions, and we'll see you next week.
The Faithful Hall of Fame, Joseph. This is Joseph.
Hey!
Who was the son of Israel and Rachel. But he had 11 brothers who hated him and sold him into slavery. After being put in jail, Joseph told of the future of Egypt when he interpreted Pharaoh's dreams, and Joseph found favor with the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh made Joseph a leader in his kingdom. Just as Joseph had told the Pharaoh, Egypt had 7 years of abundance. Then the 7 years of abundance came to an end, and the 7 years of famine began, just as Joseph had said. But the Egyptians had food to eat because Joseph had planned for the famine. There was famine in all the other lands, and many came to Joseph to buy food. There was even a famine in the land that Joseph came from. So when Israel heard that there was grain in Egypt, he sent his sons to buy some.
Yeah!
But Israel did not send Benjamin with the others because he was afraid that harm might come to him. When Joseph's brothers came to him, Joseph recognized them, but he pretended to be a stranger.
Aha!
So Joseph decided to test his brothers. He had his interpreter tell them to send for Benjamin, who had stayed home. And then he threw his brothers in jail for 3 days. On the 3rd day, Joseph let all but one of the brothers take grain to their starving households with the instruction to bring Benjamin back. But Joseph provided for his brothers' journey and gave them grain and silver. The brothers did exactly as Joseph instructed, as they were scared that God was punishing them for what they had done to Joseph so many years before. They traveled home to their father's house, then back to Egypt. Now that he had seen that they brought Benjamin, Joseph was overwhelmed, so he released the brother who was still in prison. But Joseph decided to play one more trick on his brothers. He sent the brothers away but told his servant to hide his silver cup in Benjamin's bag. Then Joseph told the servant to go after the brothers and retrieve the cup. The brothers hadn't traveled far before the servant stopped them and accused them of stealing the cup. Joseph could no longer control himself before his attendants. He made them leave so he could be alone with his brothers, and he told his brothers who he really was.
Ta-da!
He told them of his life and all he had experienced, and he forgave them for what they had done. God was with Joseph and took care of him and showed him favor.